moving on to the next segment of today's session, which is a keynote presentation on intelligent manufacturing use cases, presented by Mr. James Toulman, Director, PwC UAE, and Mr. Ian Mackay. Over to you, James and Ian. You have the next 15 minutes for your keynote.
Hi, good morning, everybody. I hope you're well today. We'd like to talk to you today about intelligent manufacturing and smart factories, which is one of our capabilities that we've been deploying regionally. And we think it's a really interesting topic to talk about at the moment. So if I just quickly share my screen, give me 1 second. Okay, so what we want to talk to you about today is our factory intelligence. So our factory intelligence is more than a suite of industrial IoT applications. It's built on our deep industry expertise. This isn't created by IT teams. This is actually created by industry experts, and we do this with a strategic business perspective. This is done to improve efficiencies, create more revenues for your business, and make sure that you're resolving the issues that you have in a faster way. So this enables us to create more value, continuously improve, and also digitize your business processes. So we have various stakeholders who are interested in the solution. So we have people like the plant manager who wants to be looking at the high-level KPIs across his business units and his plants. We have the quality manager who wants to make sure that he can identify the root causes and have personalized reports and dashboards. And then we have the guys who are the maintenance experts and the operational excellence experts. The benefits of this is that you can actually create the dashboards and the information that's pertinent to yourself. We're not using any proprietary technologies. We're using widely available solutions that are available within the marketplace. So we use Microsoft Power BI and Microsoft Azure. It's built on a very standard and simple to configure Lambda architecture. The value that we actually bring is our deep manufacturing and industry expertise. So this is a quick example of the view that you'll get. Ian's going to explain in a lot more detail one of the scenarios that you can do with it. We have multiple scenarios that we've developed with this. We're just going to show you the visualization stuff today due to the constraints of time, but we have also AI and ML capabilities that we've done with clients, and if you're interested, we can arrange separate sessions where we can have deep dive workshops. These usually take 2 to 3 hours where we show you the capability. So as you can understand, 15 minutes is a very quick run through of what we need to do. So I'm just going to quickly talk to you about the architecture of what we do. So it's based on a Lambda IoT architecture. So we're ingesting data from IoT and various other systems. We process it through a data factory into a data lake. And then we have some orchestration layers down here as well. And then we visualize it using the Power BI service. And we can integrate it into business systems as well using the SaaS services such as Flow. So this was a very, very quick introduction, obviously due to the constraints of time. I'd like to hand over to Ian now so that Ian can give you the demonstration of what we do. Over to you, Ian.
Sure, thanks, James. Please stop sharing. Please stop sharing your screen.
Yep.
There we go. Can you see my screen? Great, thank you. So thank you very much for the time today. We're very excited to show you our solution in terms of the architecture. And what this does is it enables us to be able to get a view of our plants all across the world. In this particular example, this is an automotive manufacturer where we've created demo information for you. And you can see their plants all over the world. And each one of these you can actually access via its KPIs on a management by exception basis. So I would be able to be able to get a RAG status, red, amber, and green on any particular one of my plants, and I would be able to then drill down into the performance of that plant and find out what was going wrong. So immediately that you enter into the system, it enables you to be able to fully manage your plant environment remotely. So you could be doing this from anywhere in the world on a mobile, and you're able to actually go and access all of this data. So we don't have a lot of time. So I'd like to jump into the real sort of meaningful dashboards that matter behind this. So if we look on the left-hand side, you can immediately see that I'm tracking the key KPIs of that plant. If I then go and look at the details of that plant, and there's a couple of things I'd like to draw your attention to. First of all, if we look at the if we look down the left-hand side here, you can see that there's a list of activities that are actually happening on my plant right now. So for example, I can see that I need a maintenance technician for the packaging plant. So what we do is we actually simulate breakdowns inside this environment so that you can see them. And what it does is it allows us to be able to show you how the system automatically goes and assigns maintenance tasks and makes sure that your operation is running at optimum efficiency. But due to time constraints, I'd like to take you into plant performance to start with. So when we're looking at our plant performance, that gives us an overview of how well we're performing on any given day. Just drawing up the information. So when we look at the information, we can see that we've got historical data for every single one of the data sets that we focused on. Now, the important thing about this is that these are dashboards that matter to you and your organization. So these would differ according to different companies. We apply a lot of care and attention with engineers involved to make sure that we have appropriate solutions that deliver real value. It's very important to make sure that you don't just visualize information and data. There has to be a so what behind it. And we really focus on making sure that we get the important data behind this. And we've also got the full feature set of something like Azure behind us. So for example, I don't have to be an expert in IT to be able to ask the right question. So I can ask, which plant has the worst delivery performance? And immediately that I ask this kind of a question, you can see the answer comes up. And that's the plant that we're busy looking at, the IP Bremen plant. So the ability to be able to use natural language, to be able to do detailed queries on your performance is very important. And we'll get into more of that just now when we look at the daily report. But for now, I'd like to go and show you shop floor efficiency. So in any factory environment, we have a lot of machinery which is busy running our plant. Here we can see a heat map on the right-hand side where you can see that immediately the assembly area and the packaging area of this particular plant. Like I said, this is an automotive manufacturer. You can see which parts of the plant are not functioning to their full potential. And down here in the heat map, I can actually see that for the last 3 hours, I haven't had any performance out of my assembly robot or my packaging machine, and I'm having other issues with quality and other machines as well. When I want to go and analyze this, I can actually go and deep dive straight into something like my assembly robot. And now is where you start to touch on condition monitoring and the beginning of the birth of predictive maintenance. Because what we do here is you can't always get accelerators for every single type of equipment. Sometimes you're the first person to have hooked up a piece of equipment and you need to learn about what denotes failure on that piece of equipment. So for example, when a bearing gets to a certain temperature and then it makes something fail in the process, we can actually now set alerts based on those thresholds to say, when it reaches that condition, alert this person or do the following action or slow down the line. So what we're doing here is we're actually able to start the process of predictive maintenance, and we can take multiple sensors off each machine. I apologize for how slowly it's busy loading at the moment. There we go. Okay, so off each machine, I can actually choose between all the different sensors that I've got. So I've got machine speed, grip pressure, power electrical, RPM, temperature, vibration, voltage. And each one of these can be getting their data at different periods of time. So some of them might be every 10 seconds, some of them might be every minute, some of them might even be every hour. And on this data, I can perform analytics. Now, this is very important because what it allows me to be able to do is if a machine breaks down, for example, I can go and take, say, the last 4 hours of data off that machine, And then it gives me that detailed condition monitoring information that I can then pivot or analyze. I can take it off this, I can do it in Excel, I can do it in my SAP PM. But what I can do is I can now start understanding what are those thresholds, what are those alerts that I need to put in place so that I can overcome issues next time. And of course, we have all of the standard engineering analysis graphs down there, which are relevant to that particular part of the plant environment. So as you could see from James's introduction, each of the different personas would be using different parts of this factory intelligence solution. And the factory intelligence provides a closed loop. So if we perform a maintenance task, or if we ask somebody to go do a maintenance task here, it would also reflect in your SAP PM and any of your other maintenance applications. So it does work as a closed loop type system. So let's have a look at our daily report. When we look at our daily performance on our plants, we're now able to actually go and do a meaningful analysis of how we did. You know, what was our downtime? What was our quality? What was our performance? I can then go and arrow down into any particular day where I can go and see the exact downtime on a given day. I can see the workforce. I can see where my production went wrong. I can also go and I can drill down into an individual line. So I can look at my OEE based on every single production line inside the business. And I can actually now do the type of analysis, no matter where I am in the world, to be able to keep my plant uptime going. So in a time of COVID, this has been an absolute blessing because it enables people to be able to work remotely, but be able to do exactly the same technical tasks that they usually would do from an office environment at the actual plant or manufacturing facility. So those are some of the key functionalities behind factory intelligence. We use this as a rapid prototyping platform. One of the great advantages of this is that by being able to provide the entire stack, the Azure stack to a client, the cost element isn't there for software. There's no capital expenditure. So what we do is we implement the use cases, with each one focusing on a business case with value, with measurable benefits. So each one of those scenarios that I've just shown you, each one of those would represent a use case where we're using the data to achieve a value-driven outcome. And everything that we do inside factory intelligence has a very specific goal in mind. It's not just about visualizing information. It's actually about the so what factor. Why are we doing this? What is the business case for doing this? What value are we going to generate? And how can we actually monitor that? So also, in addition to actually filling all those little gaps and helping us to be able to optimize our working processes, we also have a long-term solution here in that because it's built on the Azure stack and we use Power BI as that front end, your own expertise within your business can continue to evolve this platform as long as they like. And when it gets superseded by something else, we can just simply turn it off and stop paying the Azure cloud revenues. So this represents a modern and agile solution to the problem of real-time information management systems. Thank you very much, James, and thank you, everybody.
Thank you for your time.
Well, thank you for the intellectual data-driven session, Ian and James. We truly appreciate your time and effort to be a part of this session.